watching Inspire India here on Mirror Now. I am Afrida Rehman Ali. This is a show that brings you stories of NGOs, voluntary organizations, community partnerships, and civil citizen groups that have come together to do humanitarian work, helping out the poor, the needy, the helpless, and the marginalized communities of our country during the pandemic. In fact, many of these organizations have already been engaged in humanitarian and charity work, but now they have had to change their course. They have had to now cater to the times, given the fact that there are many out there who have been left to fend for themselves. Can the administration cover every nook and cranny of this country as big as ours? Obviously not. And therefore, the efforts of these organizations and groups are highly commendable. Here on Inspire India, we feature those stories and those individuals who are working tirelessly to help those around them and making sure that they are not left out from getting access to the very basic necessities. It's often as basic as 2 meals a day, food, shelter, clothing, medical care. These are the things that are scarce right now for those vulnerable groups, and it includes animals as well. We are going to talk to Vinod Kumar joining us from Bengaluru. He is the founder member of Good Quest Foundation that is doing a lot of work in the city of Bengaluru. Welcome, Mr. Vinod Kumar. Thanks for joining us here on Inspire India today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the invite. Sachithra Soman. Let's also introduce Sachithra Soman, who's from Kochi and who is doing a lot of work to help out the stray animals. There are very few people who actually care enough for the animals out there who are starving, who do not get food. Obviously, because of the lockdowns that are imposed, there is no food left. There is no waste food dumped for the animals to feed on. And who is going to actually make sure that they do not die of starvation? Well, someone like Sachithra Soman is doing it in Kochi. So we are going to talk to our guests on Inspire India. Let me begin with you, Vinod Kumar. You have started your journey, I think, much before COVID started, and you brought together professionals who are today working for Good Quest Foundation. Tell us more about how this started and how you had to change course because of the pandemic. The requirements became very different.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Your channel and your program are throwing light on some field volunteers like me who are working for some years now. Thank you for the opportunity. Well, answering to your question, the Good Quest Foundation is an embodiment of working young men and women across Bangalore. We have come together to serve for a cause. See, we work exclusively among the marginalized community. We work among the slum dwellers. We work among the LGBTQ community. We work among the sex workers. We work among the refugees. We work among the migrants. And we take special care in the interest and the welfare of juvenile children. So that's been our area of work, and we've been working since 2016. And relief work during natural disasters like flood or during a pandemic like COVID is one of the core areas that the young men and women from Good Quest work on. And we've been working for 1 year now with respect to COVID-19 relief work, exclusively among the communities which I just mentioned.
Yes. Interesting, because I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about how you cater to transgender, sex workers and tribal communities. A lot is known and reported about what's happening in cities. Often we don't know what is going on in these forest areas, which Good Quest Foundation also caters to. I'll come back to you for that part. Let me go across to Sachitra. Sachitra, a very good afternoon to you. This is very interesting, the information that I'm looking at coming to me on the work that you're doing, because it seems that you've been an animal lover since you're a child. First of all, tell us more about your journey, how you started this process of taking care of stray animals. Today, you're a pet parent of about 45 animals living with you. But take us back in time to tell us how and where the journey started.
Thank you for this opportunity. Actually, I am a pet lover from childhood onwards, and my parents also used to take care of lot of pets at home. So gradually I was living with them only. That is why I also became a pet lover. And last 5 years, I have been rescuing a lot of animals, and I am fostering them. I am giving shelter to them. Now also I am doing around 45 animals I am taking care of at my home itself. I used to rescue the injured, abandoned puppies, kittens from the road. And those who are not getting medical treatments and all, I used to bring home, and I give them treatments and give them for adoption. So many, more than 1,000 pets got adopted through me. And I'm very happy that a lot of animals, whoever they were supposed to end their life in the streets, they got good homes.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you also facilitate pet adoption, but you are something like the first line of defense. If there is a stray animal, a stray dog, or a stray cat out there, you rescue that animal the moment it comes to your notice, and then you feed those animals in your home, in your residence. Now, there would be a lot of challenges doing that. When you choose a place, because you were telling me earlier that you choose your accommodation depending on whether it will be suitable to make a shelter for that many animals. Did you have to face problems finding a suitable place, maybe pesky neighbors?
Yes, definitely. As I'm staying in a rented place, always I have a neighbor problems. And also it's very difficult to find new houses. Most of the owners, they never allow pets inside. When it is around 40 to 70 animals, they will never allow. And every 6 months, I'm changing my residence due to neighbor complaints. Most of the time, they take me to police station, court, and all also. People's mindset is that stray animals are not supposed to bring home, and they are scared of stray dogs. And when they see in this, I'm living in Kochi. Most of the people attitude, only a small percentage of people, they love animals. Other people, if they see a stray animal, they used to at least they have to stone at them if they are not attacking them also. This is their mindset. So I think animals are the one who is suffering a lot in this pandemic situation also, because there are a lot of people there to help the humans, but nobody is caring about these voiceless creatures, and they don't know to complain, they don't know to they don't know to present their problems to anybody. So I think this is the best way to do my services to them.
Absolutely. Sachitra, yes, you're right. There are more people willing to help out and contribute when it comes to an organization that's dealing with humans. The moment it is about helping stray animals, like you said, fewer people come forward. But I hope that now that we are airing this story, animal lovers from across the country can reach out, and there can be a network of people like you, Sachitra, who's working on this agenda of helping stray animals. They have as much right on this planet as humans do. Okay, coming back to you, Mr. Vinod Kumar, you were talking about how you're addressing certain marginalized communities. I want you to talk us through what you have seen when you have gone to these areas of, say, transgenders and sex workers. What are the challenges there? What are the problems during the pandemic in those areas?
Well, very little is known about a few communities who are marginalized. I would also say they are ostracized in many ways. And COVID-19 has not only brought about health concerns and health hazards, it has also brought in a lot of economic distress among the communities that we are working. And few among them being the slum dwellers. You know, the majority of the slums that we deal with in Bangalore and around Bangalore are slum dwellers who earn their living through their daily wage. Now, once there is lockdown or once there is their small establishments shut down, or stores or shops or markets shut down, they run out of jobs. So they cannot earn their living. Now, so along with fear for corona, they also have fear of food. Okay, there is a scarcity of food in their households, and that's where we come to their help. That's about the slum dwellers. And then talking about the transgenders, very little is spoken about this very special community. They're very special in many ways. See, today the society has ostracized them to an extent where they are not given jobs. They are not a part of the formal job market. All right, they are either left to beggary or some are left to sex work. All right, now their voice is again not heard. Now we go in search of them. We go in search of them. We provide them dry ration, and we make them feel special. And we communicate one message, that they are very much a part of the community and their voices also matter. And to be honest, I tell you, they wait for our visit. Every time we visit their house or every time we visit their hammam, they wait for our visit because there are hardly any guests visiting them. So we go with dry ration, we go with some snacks to meet them, and the joy on their face will speak the distress they are going through. And there are also other communities we work. We work among a few refugee settlements that are in Bangalore, be it Rohingya community near the Dasarahalli Lake Belt, or there are other, communities who are seeking asylum in India, in Bangalore, with the help of the government authorities, with the help of the UNHCR, we reach ration to them. We reach nutritious food to the children because they are again out of job. Majority of the refugees that we have come across are rag pickers, are paper and plastic bottle collectors. And now with the situation like lockdown, they are out of job, and we go to their rescue and we go to their help. And also I want to highlight about one community where less spoken about, rural India and the tribal communities in the remotest parts of our forest. There are a good number of tribal communities who still exist, who still stay in the rural parts, who stay in deep inside the forest, in the remotest part of the forest. So we've been working in the forest areas like in the district of Chamarajnagar. We work in Hunsur Taluk and the HD Kote belt. We've been working among the Soliga tribal communities, the Jain Kurubas, and many other tribal communities. I want to tell you one thing. These tribal communities are geographically located in such an area where their forests share a border with other states. So they walk across to the other state border to work in plantations. So let me talk about a few tribal hamlets we work in the Nagarhole belt. They share their borders with Kerala. So there are a good number of tribals who walk across the border and work in plantations in Kerala. Now, when there was lockdown and state borders are closed, their transit is stopped. Okay, they cannot walk across. And there are some tribal hamlets which we have come across in Chamarajnagar, near MM Hills and BR Hills. They share their borders with the Satyamangalam forests and Tamil Nadu. Now, they have to cross across the border to work in some stone quarries, and they were not able to do when the lockdown was there and there was the borders are locked. And they also, harvest honey. They are not able to market honey because of economic crisis that's around COVID. There are many unheard voices.
There's been tremendous amount of job losses for this segment of people, Mr. Vinod Kumar, and the fact that you've recognized that and reached out to them. Awareness, again, that's another point I wanted to ask you. Are the people in these forest areas, tribal communities, fully aware of what exactly is happening about the virus, the precautions they need to take, the vaccination, for instance? Are they aware of these things, the message percolating to those areas?
Well, I would be wrong if I will say they are absolutely ignorant of COVID and the distress, health distress COVID can cause. They are aware, but they are not aware to the extent that we expect them to be aware of. And yes, we thank the forest departments, also the tribal societies, tribal welfare societies, which give us access to approach these communities and reach them help. But very little is done, I feel, when it comes to awareness. Very little is done when it comes to awareness. To be honest, I tell you, we also work in the area of menstrual care. Can you believe me if I say that the menstrual care of the women that we come across in
Yes.
these tribal hamlets are in a mess. We come across women who still use ashes, dry leaves, and pieces of rags, pieces of old clothes to treat their menstrual cycles or to care for their menstrual needs. I mean, that's shocking, right? So that's where we go with our trained group of volunteers to educate the women on menstrual care, on hygiene, on sanitation, and we encourage them to use a reusable cloth, biodegradable napkins. So that, and also there are so many taboo connected with this. You know, along with COVID, these health concerns are also add up to their plight.
Absolutely. The health and hygiene and sanitation is a very, very critical area. And I'm so happy to hear that individuals like you are taking care of this, often neglected again, you know, when it comes to maintaining hygiene in this in pandemic times. I will come back to you to also get an understanding on how you do the funding and how you get your resources from. But I want to go back to Sachitra quickly. Sachitra, one more issue that now during pandemic, you were telling me earlier that the worst sufferers are the stray animals. Why do you say so?
Because stray animals don't have they are not the member of ration card. They are not getting kits or ration rice. So what they used to depend on hotel waste and all. Now they are not getting, as most of the shops are closed. All the shops are closed. And there is people, they used to throw their waste, food waste to the street, but nobody is there in the street also. So they are totally, they are starving. But government should initiate something to feed these animals, not only the animals, stray animals, or the birds also, they are suffering. They are not getting water or food also. So somebody like us, some people, they have to take the initiative to feed at least in their locality. That is what I felt. Most of the dogs you can see, they have shifted from one place to other locations in search of food recently after the lockdown, because they are not getting the food from their regular places.
Right. So they have been completely thrown out of the system in that sense, because unless someone like you recognizes that there is this issue of stray animals going hungry, nothing can happen. I mean, there's no one out there looking after them, no government scheme, no municipal corporation perhaps looking after feeding stray animals. So it's totally an area that is being taken care of by individuals like Sachitra. I'm sure there are others across the country doing this. But one more thing about the mindset, and we were talking about this, that why are you doing this? You know, are you ever questioned that why do you have to bother about stray animals? Because not many people understand that love and passion for animals, do they?
Yes, we used to get the questions frequently. Even when we talk about animals case in social media also, we used to get a lot of questioning from lot of people. They used to question us. There are a lot of humans, they deserve the help. Why you people are not helping them? Why you are behind the animals' life? But the thing is, they have a tongue to talk about their problems. But animals, they don't. They need somebody to talk for them. This is the difference I felt. That is why I am more concerned about the animals.
Right. Yes, they don't have a voice. They cannot speak up for themselves. And if they go hungry, they will just die out of starvation. They have no means even to voice out their concerns. And Sachitra, that sense, of course, this is something you're doing which would be, of course, considered humanitarian. This is a human side as well. Let me go across back to Mr. Vinod Kumar. Vinod, you were telling us about the funding and process and how the resources are never enough, because, of course, you have extended yourself to a number of areas. Tell us about how you're also catering to those security guards and house helps who ran out of work because of the lockdown from residential societies. There's some vocational training that you were mentioning that's also happening for them.
Yes. We are out in the service for 1 year now, and I tell you, very honestly speaking, that our resources are scarce. You know, we small NGOs or civic communities are doing so much for the community, and our resources are very limited and scarce. And I, at this point, have to place on record our thanks to a few partners who are helping us do this. Here in Bangalore, Good Quiz Foundation has joined hands with few other organizations, and we collectively call ourselves as Corona Care Bengaluru. So be it Hope, Project Vision, Don Bosco Breads, IFO, ECHO, Oriana Seva. These are other organizations which have joined hands with us. And, we raise donations from crowdfunding platforms. Our donors who watch our work are, again, common public, are, again, civic members of civic societies, some smaller organizations, again, maybe some diaspora, Indian diaspora spread in other parts of the country. In small number, they help us. But that's very little. That's very little. And I should tell, in the second wave, we are also, along with giving them support with cooked meals and dry ration, we are also giving them oxygen support help. We have received some oxygen concentrators as donation from this group called Karmodaya. We are thankful to them. With their oxygen concentrators, we are providing oxygen support to the beneficiaries. Over and all, it's civic society helping civic society. It's common people helping common people. So this is where it is very, scarce. And I would like to send a message across through your platform that.
But this, you're talking about collaboration, which is interesting, that like-minded people need to come together. But, also tell us a little bit about yourself, that you're a teacher. You have a full-time job. How do you make time to do this?
I am a teacher and I work as assistant professor in Center for Management Studies, Jain University, Bangalore. Now, that's my profession. However, Good Quest and Corona Care work is my passion. So what I do is, after my work hours, I engage classes to my students every day. But after my work hour, I step out to the field and I serve the one in need. That is the case with every other core member or volunteer in my group. They are all from IT and BT backgrounds. They work in organizations and companies. So they all take time off. We work in the kitchen. We work in the field, serving food, giving oxygen support, and all of this. And let me tell you one thing. We have a very sustainable approach towards our relief work. Now, we can't provide help with respect to food and dry ration all the time, right? So when there is in the peak of lockdown, we provide them cooked meals, we provide them dry ration. But as lockdown relaxes, with my previous year experience, I can tell you, we engage people in employment. Let me tell you one thing. Bangalore is a IT capital, IT hub. And how many of you know that quite number of housekeeping staff and maids who were working in tech parks in Bangalore have lost their jobs? Thousands of families in Bangalore, persons who were working in tech capitals, in tech parks, as housekeeping staff have lost their job. So we get to gather such women and men in groups. We form self-help groups and we teach them some skills. So for example, in 3 of our slums, we are teaching them to stitch masks. We are teaching them
It's one thing to give them a fish, and it's quite another to teach them how to fish. You are a teacher yourself, and it's obviously understandable that you would know how to do that. Thank you so much, Vinod Kumar ji and Sachithra Soman. Thank you so much for joining us. It's quite evident. I can see the passion in the two of you when you talk about your work. And this is being done purely out of humanitarian concern. There are no returns expected out of this. This is being done simply with an intention to help fellow countrymen, and in Sachitra's case, the stray animals. Thanks for joining us on Inspire India.